Great.
All right. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sophie.
All right. We were not on last week. I hope everybody missed us.
That's right. It's been 2 weeks.
All right. So, Abby, today we're talking about a very raw for me topic, one that I have an enormous compassion for everybody except myself.
Yes. Same.
I have compassion for myself, but it's to be at the effect of low-level emotions, right? So like anger, rage, guilt, shame,
Yep.
Embarrassment, fear,
Denial.
Resentment, hatred.
Yep.
What did you say?
Denial.
No, denial is what you put on top of those emotions, I think. Right? Or
yes,
the
you're right.
Of those emotions, not wanting to experience those emotions.
Yeah, that's so true. You're right.
Yeah. So even for the very, very nice and good people, the one that have a character that is so attractive, there is underneath a low-level emotion. We all have them, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then as we go through life, regardless of the level of training we have or awareness we have, something happens. It's either a shock or a fear, and you lose your awareness. You go into the survival mode, which is confused and denial.
Yep.
And then it's as if you are possessed, because you have no more choice, because you've made yourself unconscious, right? So your choice is gone, and your automatic patterns come back, and those low-level emotions explodes like a volcano.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
And is this, you talk about the ego as a trap, right? Like once you're in your ego, you're trapped in the cage. Is this, when this happens in life, are you just sort of back in that little prison that you built?
Oh, yes, definitely. Right. So
yeah,
it's the jail of not being aware, not being conscious, of being in survival, right? What I call the sleepwalker.
Yeah.
There is a way to manage well in that, but there is a way to destroy everything. Right. And today I want to talk about the destructive side and to share with everybody that even after 30 or 35 years of practicing awareness and talking about it and doing a lot of work, it's not often, but if something happened and I'm not aware of it happening and it throws me into fear, then I will be back in that space of reacting. And my low-level emotions that I cannot be with is rage and shame. Right? What about you, Abby?
I would say the usual emotion that I go to is like hurt, but what's under that I don't like to be with is anger. I really don't like to be with anger.
And then when you're angry, what is after your anger is gone, what is it guilt, shame, embarrassment?
That's a great question. Let's see. I think it's embarrassment. A lot. My ego is really, really specifically attuned to wanting to please and perfect everything. And I think there's a deep embarrassment there when things don't go that direction under that anger.
All right. So embarrassment for you, shame for me, anger for you, rage for me, right? It actually feels, you get the intensity, right? Anger and embarrassment is one intensity, rage and shame, it's like the pit of the bottom. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
And quickly,
down to the same, by the way. Go ahead.
If you don't
This,
mind me saying, I didn't even realize truthfully until relatively recently in my life that anger was there, because I did so much covering of that and so much numbing of that anger. So it's just an encouragement to folks, like, keep looking under and under and under. I used to think I didn't feel anger. Well, that's not true. I just covered anger. I numbed anger because hurt was easier for me to feel. So it's just keep looking a little
yeah.
piece.
We numb them by food or alcohol or drugs or hardworking, right? We all each have our way to hide, to not experience those low level emotions, right?
Absolutely.
So there is two things I think that will support everybody. The first one, as always, is to ask yourself the question, when is the first time in your life you experience that low level emotion? Right? So for me, rage is when I was 2 years old, and shame is when I was 8 years old. So I'm going to share those two because the mechanism is by sharing, I hope you will see how it works for you. Okay. So when I was 1.5 years old, I was on a farm in Africa, and the farm got attacked by machine gun fire. And I was in my mother's arm, but my 21-year-old mother got scared and threw me on the bed and ran out. She ran out to get my father, but I thought she threw me to my death, right? And the rage came because I was so terrified.
Of course. Yeah.
There was so much terror that I rather feel rageful than terrified. So you can see that my rage, which I cannot stand, in fact, hide terror. Mm-hmm. And if I can get to the terror, then the rage won't even be there. Right? So that is one way to go, what you were saying, Abby, go underneath, go underneath, go underneath, right? So I know I have to be responsible for having an automatic reaction or an automatic way of being in life, which is terror. It's automatic for me. My neurons are connected that way, right? Mm-hmm. So terror is something that I need to be responsible for. Mm. And I know most of the time, but the moment I'm not, what is there is rage, and it is extremely costly for me, mm-hmm. Right? Because I'm very powerful. I am very articulate, and I can cut off anybody's head in a minute and hurt people, right? Which then breaks my heart, right? So that's one way, is to go back in your past and ask yourself, when is the first time I experienced that? So do you want to share your first time, Abby?
Sure. I believe my first time was at 5 years old. I was in first grade or kindergarten. I was walking down the hall of my school, and I went to a Catholic school. I grew up in a Catholic family. And at the time, that was my connection to God. So anyone related to the church was God for me. So I'm walking down the hall, feeling relatively joyful. I see the priest walking towards me, which I was very excited about. I loved the priest. And I said, hi. And he came up to me. He pushed me up against the lockers that were in the hall. And he said, you say hello, Father, to me. You never disrespect me with hi. And I was like, I can't even explain to you how truly mortified I was. And in that moment, I believed that I was bad. And I think I'm just now realizing, you and I spoke about it a little before this, I felt really scared and hurt, but I think I actually had anger there. I think I was angry at him for doing that. Mm-hmm. And I'm just now getting to that realization that I was angry at him. Mm-hmm. But because I put together the people pleaser in that moment, it allowed me to avoid the anger. by trying to please. So I think that's the first time I felt that really deep anger towards someone.
Right. So anytime you please people, anytime you feel bad, what you need to do is get to the anger.
Yeah.
Right? Mortified and angry. Those are the two emotions you need to let yourself experience so that you can recapture your choice. Right? So that is the internal work that every single one of us needs to do. There are not that many emotions that we need to get to the source of, right? I have two, shame and rage. Abby has anger and being mortified, right? For you, the way your character and your ego is put together is more the people pleaser and doing it perfectly that is costly for you, right?
Absolutely.
But, anger, you need to let yourself, I'm very happy I'm doing this work because my rage is like a volcano, right? And I think that's how you get sick. That's how you get cancer or sick or Alzheimer or whatever if you don't deal with those very strong emotions, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
One way, ask yourself the question, when is the first time in my life that I experienced that? And just disentangle it. Right? So that you know what is underneath and you can at least with awareness recapture your choice.
Yes.
That's one way to look at it, right? So with me it's for shame, right? There was no shame at 1.5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was 8 years old, I was in the kitchen and I reached over to grab a shelf, and the shelf had all the glass bottle, the tomato ketchup, the mayonnaise, the oil, the olives, all in glass jar, right? Big shelves. And I grabbed it and the whole thing fell down. Oh, I burst into tears, right? And my big father came and I remember to this day, he bent down, he was so tall and big, right? I mean, strong. And he said, it's okay, darling, everybody makes mistake. It happens. And he went to give me a kiss, right? Now, in my culture, you don't kiss children on the lips, but as he was bending down to kiss me, I turned my head and our lips touched, and my father pushed me away. And I saw in his eyes that he was not shocked, but it was a danger, that I became a danger. That it was not something we should have done, or I didn't even understand, but it was really not okay. And I felt such shame. See, my father is my hero, right? Was my hero. And I just wanted him to know, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Right? Yeah. And that shame is recurring in my life constantly.
Wow.
But it really is amazing, Abby. It's shame about being older, shame about over the years, I could see it everywhere. When I give money to the homeless people, because in case they are in that position where they really just like $10 will make a difference for them, I give it to it just in case. If they go and drink, well, bad luck.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
If I'm seen giving the money.
Oh. So you're always sort of aware of the shame in the peripheries.
Shame of it. Over the last 30 years, I was stunned.
Wow. Yep. I totally get that.
The shame of just what I do.
Yes. Wow. I love that you're able to really tie it specifically to what you do or what you did.
Yeah, to what I do indeed, right?
Yeah.
And then it ties with the rage, because if I lose my temper,
Right.
then the shame is
Oh,
like, oh, let's go.
oh, of course. Oh, yeah. That's a feast for
Let's
the
go,
ego, right?
right?
I mean, that's
So the way to deal, if your emotion doesn't comes from a situation with another human being, right? Like my shame is my father's reaction
Mm,
and fear of any inappropriate accident with his daughter. His own feelings and problems and issues. I
absolutely.
took it on and turned it into shame,
Yes.
but it's his,
Yep.
right? So with compassion and love, you can just push back. You do not have to take the emotion of the other person and turn it against yourself.
So big.
And that's the
So big.
other way to deal with those low level emotion. And again, is when is the first time? What happened? Did I take on something that did not belong to me?
Yeah, I noticed that with you know, the attempt to please as well. There's what's under that is a wanting to uh I'm already thinking if I do this, I'll make someone sad, I'll hurt them, I'll make them angry, I'll make the priest, do what he did. So in order to avoid that, I please. And it's a what I can learn to do is allow other people to have their reactions. It's okay if someone's upset because I've made a
Yes,
choice or
yes,
I've done something
yes.
differently.
Yes, the priest idea of how he should be addressed was his problem, not yours.
Yes. Yes.
You,
Yes.
you didn't do anything else. I can just see you, this little blonde girl saying, hi. It really wasn't your problem.
Yeah. Right. I felt responsible for his reaction.
Well,
And
he was reacting, right?
yes.
It was his reaction, like it was my dad's reaction, not mine. Right? So, oh my, so a
Powerful.
few things to say about that, right? So it's like, when you have games where you put a thing and you push one and the whole thing falls off. How
Oh
is
yeah,
it called?
dominoes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dominoes. All right. Can you get the whole world as a domino effect?
Oh, good Lord.
Okay.
Yeah. God.
You give a little push to the first one, and boom, 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 everybody's off, right? So there is such a thing as communication.
Yes.
Communication, right? So you lost your temper, or you said something you regret to say, or okay, breathe, just breathe, calm, just try to get back to, I'm not a human having a spiritual experience. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience, and my human is going crazy right now. He needs a hug. Okay, that's the first thing. Just calm down and then talk, communicate with the other person. It's not easy, but it is the only way to be fully responsible. And how you communicate is everybody is 100% responsible. It's not 50-50.
I love
When
that.
it's 50% responsible, where's the other 50%? No, it's 100.
I love that.
Right?
I really love that.
And then get to the source. So the internal work to be done on oneself is not to indulge, is not to have an insight, it's not to intellectually masturbate with your past or whatever. It's just so that you can get, machine gun, rage, terror. Okay, very good. I'm not there anymore. Experience the terror, it will go away, right?
Yes.
Shame. Okay, not mine. I'm giving it back with love, but that's not mine. I'm not taking it on.
Yes.
That's it. And then you move on. There is no story to tell. There is nothing else to do than to know what are your buttons.
Oh. And Sophie, I got an insight about that this weekend because I was triggered into my ego this weekend. And And on Sunday morning, I woke up and felt the anger. And what I realized, something new about the ego work that I haven't seen before fully, is that understanding your mechanism, just having the words and just the quick synopsis of what that mechanism, it's like an anchor for the mind. It allows your mind to not do all the beliefs and doubts and fears and thinking that sometimes come with the emotion. So I was able to hold the anchor in my mind of, I know this comes from this event, to let the emotions move freely through me without attaching to new thoughts. And I think that that's something really powerful about this ego work, is having an anchor, knowing exactly that anchor, so that you can let your body have the experience and not fly all around. So for those of you who do this work, or those who haven't, that's just something that I saw this weekend. It was a new awareness for me.
All right, ladies, you want to look at to see if there is any comment or anything? And then while you do that, I'm going to tell everybody we had the book launch on Saturday. It was great. Thank you to all of you that were on. It was such fun. And if you want to pre-order the book or have a digital copy, go to my website, sophiemclean.com. Okay, SophieMcLean, my name.com. You go to books and you will see our new book ready for pre-order, or download the digital copy.
Yes. And the pre-order price will be changing in a couple of weeks. So if you want to get it, now's the time.
In 1 week.
Yep.
In 1 week, due to the printing costs. So for 1 week, we kept the price right down, but it's only 1 week. So go and check it out.
That's right.
Any comments or question, Abby?
Yeah, we have one from Kim. Kim has a great question. Kim says, asking this early on, and you may already have covered it by the time you read this, but I get reactivated by a sense of feeling trapped or blocked, especially in other people, and even more especially in conversation. I'm wondering what that is as an emotion.
Feeling trapped?
Yeah, feeling trapped or blocked.
As an emotion? I don't know, actually, feeling trapped, that's a feeling, right? Feeling trapped. The emotion will be fear, I suppose, or anger, right? Kim, you have to say, how does it make you feel to feel trapped?
There it is, yeah.
Do you feel angry or frightened or terrified or outraged, hateful, mad, right? You get to the emotion that way. That's good.
I think also what you said early on, Sophie, which was just ask yourself, when was the first time you remember feeling trapped, and go through that.
And then really look at it like you look at a movie, right? Look at the scene and write down everything. And you write some things down that don't amount to anything, but you'll get to the core of it.
That was a great
question. I'll come to my course in September, but Kim has already done it.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, much, much, much love.
Much love, everyone. And Dima, thank you for being here. Dima said she's going to buy the book. And Kim says angry, I think. Thanks, looking. Great. That's great. Thank you for being here. We love this Monday call. Thank you for just sticking with us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a great week.
Leave a comment and don't forget to like.
That's right. Yes. Engage with us. Thank you.